A logical fallacy is when your brain puts on a suit, grabs a microphone, speaks with total confidence, and is still completely wrong. It's bad reasoning with good presentation. The argument feels right, it sounds right, but if you slow it down and actually inspect it, the logic quietly collapsed 5 minutes ago and everyone just kept clapping. Fallacies are dangerous, not because they're stupid, but because they're convincing. They work on smart people, emotional people, tired people, angry people, which is to say, all of us. They're the optical illusions of thinking. They don't look like mistakes, they look like common sense. 1. Ad hominem, attacking the person. This is when instead of responding to someone's argument, you attack who they are, their character, their lifestyle, their past, their job, their education, anything except the actual point being made. It feels powerful because socially it looks like you won, but logically you've done nothing. You didn't disprove the idea, you just tried to embarrass the person delivering it. Even terrible people can be right about things, and even brilliant people can be confidently wrong. Logic doesn't care about vibes. Example, you can't trust her opinion on economics. She still lives with her parents. 2. Appeal to authority. This is when someone claims an idea is true because a famous or respected person said it. And yes, experts matter, but only when they're speaking in their actual field. A celebrity with a podcast does not suddenly become a scientist, philosopher, and doctor at the same time. Authority can guide evidence, but it can't replace it. Example, a movie star says this diet cures depression, so it must work. 3. False dilemma, black and white thinking. This is when someone pretends there are only two options in a world that's obviously full of complexity. You're forced to choose between extremes, even though the real answer is usually somewhere in the messy middle. It's logic reduced to a badly written movie script. Example, if you're not with me, you're against me. 4. Post hoc, false cause. This is when two events happen close together and your brain instantly invents a causal story. It feels satisfying because humans hate randomness and love explanations. But most of the time, it's just coincidence wearing a fake lab coat. Example, I wore my lucky shirt and my team won. The shirt worked. 5. Slippery slope. This is when someone tells you that one small change will inevitably lead to total disaster. Not might, not could, but will. It treats the future like a guaranteed domino chain instead of a chaotic system full of choices and resistance. It's fear pretending to be logic. Example, if we allow phones in class, soon no one will learn anything. 6. Circular reasoning. This is when the conclusion is hidden inside the premise. The argument sounds deep, but it never actually proves anything. It's logic running in circles and calling it progress. Example, this law is fair because it's just, and it's just because it's fair. 7. Hasty generalization. This is when your brain sees a tiny sample and declares a universal truth. Two examples become a global rule. It's pattern recognition on low battery mode. Example, 2 of my coworkers are lazy. People from that country are lazy. 8. Bandwagon, appeal to popularity. This one says, everyone believes it, so it must be true. But popularity is not evidence. It just means a lot of people agreed at the same time. History is basically a long list of things everyone believed that turned out to be wrong. Example, everyone on TikTok believes this, so it must be true. 9. Red herring. This is when someone changes the subject to avoid dealing with the real issue. You ask one question, they answer a completely different one and hope you forget what you asked. Example, person, why did you lie? Response, well, nobody is perfect. 10. Appeal to emotion. This is when feelings replace reasoning. Instead of arguments, you get fear, guilt, pity, outrage, or inspirational music. It works because emotions are fast and logic is slow. Example, if you don't agree with this, you don't care about suffering people. 11. Tu quoque, you too. This is when hypocrisy is used as a defense. Instead of answering the argument, the person points fingers. Even if someone is inconsistent, their logic can still be valid. Example, you criticize junk food, but you ate pizza last week. 12. No true Scotsman. This is when you change definitions to protect your belief. Anyone who disagrees suddenly stops counting as a real member of the group. Example, no real fan would criticize the team, but I do. Well, no true fan would. 13. Anecdotal evidence. This is when personal stories replace real data. One experience becomes universal truth. Stories feel powerful because they're vivid, but they're terrible at representing reality. Example, my uncle smoked and lived to 90, so smoking is fine. 14. False equivalence. This is when two things are treated as equal even though they're not even close in seriousness. It flattens reality, so everything looks morally and logically the same. Example, cheating on a test is basically the same as stealing a car. 15. Loaded question. This is a trap disguised as a question. No matter how you answer, you already look guilty. Example, have you stopped being irresponsible yet? 16. Genetic fallacy. This is when you judge an idea based on where it came from instead of whether it's true. Good ideas can come from bad sources, and bad ideas can come from good ones. Example, that theory came from social media, so it's false. 17. Texas sharpshooter. This is cherry-picking evidence. You keep the hits, hide the misses, and then act surprised when the pattern looks convincing. Example, I predicted 3 correct things. Ignore the 20 failures. Middle ground fallacy. This assumes the truth must always be somewhere in between two extremes, but sometimes one side is just wrong, and compromise doesn't magically fix bad information. Example, one says vaccines work, one says they're fake. Truth is probably halfway. 19. Appeal to ignorance. This treats lack of evidence as proof. If something hasn't been disproven, it must be true, or if it hasn't been proven, it must be false. Example, no one has disproven ghosts, so they must exist. Final thought. Fallacies are not what dumb people use. They are what human brains naturally produce. They're mental shortcuts, cognitive autopilot, the default settings of the mind. Learning them doesn't make you unbeatable in debates. It makes you better at the hardest skill of all, catching yourself in the act of being wrong. And honestly, that's where real intelligence actually starts. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button, subscribe for more mind-bending content, and I'll see you in the next one.